Fresh Start Worlds are here and I have just 5 goals. 1 purple from all 3 raids, make 1 billion GP and obtain an Infernal Cape. Join me as I build my new account from scratch, all the while rediscovering Runescape. Hi everyone, welcome back to Rediscovering Runescape. This is episode 1, as the last episode was a bit of a prologue, and I'm counting it as episode 0. Now, last episode, of course, was focused like 90% on quests for the most part, and leveling via quests. So we're starting with about 800 total level, and again, this is just like almost purely questing, plus a little bit of stuff like agility and whatever I can get my hands on to get some early levels. Now, in this episode, we're going to approach 1000 total level. That's the main goal, is 1000 total. I'm also going to try and get the Dragon Defender, because this is going to help a lot with melee combat training, and I want to do a lot of melee combat training in this ep as well, because I've got some time off. I've got like 4 or 5 days off where I can't really play, but I want to make gains and generally progress. And my means of doing so is pretty simple. It's going to be AFK at rock crabs or splash magic. Now, there'll be a bit of questing here and there, as I'll try and get a few done every episode, but definitely not as much as the previous one. A really interesting part of this early game is about finding skilling methods that are both semi-efficient but also profitable. And luckily for me, making Molten Glass has been really good to me. Buying for about 300 to 400 GP for the components and selling off for about 500 GP, so the crafting level can definitely be trained via this method. Now, blowing glass is a bit easier and more AFK, but this process, which is a bit more intensive I guess, is paying off big time. And this is going to be one of my sort of like training methods, hopefully going forwards, assuming the price stays up. But the crafting levels are coming in pretty hot, it's really nice. Well, we're back at the GE, some of my money has been reinvested here and there, and I did another run of lore runes, and I was tracking the price graph, and it was looking real good. At certain points, one big investor comes along, puts in an order for about 1,000 or 2,000, and the price will jump up by 50 GP or so, and that's enough to make a really significant difference going forwards. So right here, started with around about 210k, 220k, not a lot. And that's just plus 100k for selling at 374, whereas most other people are selling at around 320, so really nice deal there. Pretty huge considering like previously it was selling for 328, like around this threshold, and then I decided to give it a bit of the long game, but now I've got another 350k and I'm going to try and do it again. Well, coming back to the GE after a nice nap. More like a 12-hour crash out, but look at that, isn't that perfect? And the big boys, the big one of course, look at those Lawrunes, they actually sold for 384, which is mental, and I have been tracking the prices very particularly. Current price is like 309, so I got an incredible deal. Time looking at all the graphs and all the tedious shit behind the scenes has paid off greatly, as buckets of sand have skyrocketed over the last few hours. Climbing all the way up to nearly 500 GP, if not beyond. And if you remember what I bought this for, here we are. Buying for 100 and, bought this set for 126. And I bought another set previously for a similar amount as well. So buying for less than 200 and selling for 500, 300 GP profit, just crazy, and just free money, honestly. So I'll absolutely take that. Some dude bought out all of the lore runes up to price 444. Yeah, I sold these for 374. I don't even like... This was like 200k, like 230k, and now it's just boom, 500k again. Right, I've got 3 major quests I want to do in this episode. Alongside reaching 1k total, which is the big plan, I want to do 3 quests. One is Freeminic Trials, which is what I'm about to do now. The second is Voyage for Fossil Island access and access to better hunter training methods. And thirdly is Shades of Morton to access a herblore training method. So 3 unique quests that are going to help give general progress and methods to progress. But first of all, we're starting up with Freeminic Trials. Well, that certainly didn't take as long as it did back in the day. No surprise, thank you, Quest Helper. Definitely streamlining things a lot for things like this. A lot of around the board and just random stuff. But yeah, that is indeed the Freeminic Trials completed. A huge 28,000 in a variety of skills. I'm going to get at least a couple of levels, I'd hope, out of this. Let's see. Fishing 32, Agility 38, that's a nice one. Crafting 45, really nice. Fletching 33, really nice again. Yeah, just a good set of levels. thieving is actually really close to 40 as well. So next up, it's going to be time for Bone Voyage and Shades of Morton. I'm just setting up for getting ready to go to Fossil Island here. I got a dig site pendant the other day, and I want to start getting my hunter level up. So through birdhouses, this is going to be the most efficient means, I think, especially early on. The experience will start slow, but it will ramp up pretty quickly as the levels come through. So we're getting like 10 or so of these necklaces ready, and I'm going to go unlock all of the TPs around the block on Fossil Island. And then hopefully I'll be able to start getting some consistent hunter XP, which will be much needed. Well, I actually forgot to record the end of that. God, I'm looking like a bit of an Iron Man. This is awful. Really, really Iron Man now. With the helm, the D-Sim, the glory. I mean, it's not quite like Iron Man. It's just kind of like weird account level. Some odd 45 def. But that's Bone Voyage completed. I now have access to... How do I get off this thing? Let me out. How do I even get off this? Do I talk to this guy? No, oh, okay, there we go. So this is Fossil Island, and I now have it unlocked. I can now go to the house on the hill, somewhere up there, and I can get some TPs unlocked via the magic mush trees. Now, it's probably worth building things like the bank over here and a couple of other things, but in general, this is where I'm going to be training a lot of my hunter via birdhouses, which hopefully will be a bit profitable as well. So as long as I upkeep that every 40 or 45 minutes, I can come back, do a birdhouse run. And it's kind of crazy because I've been putting off doing construction, and on the main game it used to be one of my most hated skills by far, and it probably still is at high levels, but considering how fast the XP is, it's really, really nice to get these levels up right here. Like every 5 or 6 builds is basically a level. Here is probably a level after like one more build, and it's just so quick, and it's really nice to feel actually kind of, I don't know, it's nice to experience the skill when it's early on, because I have not been enjoying it previously. There's 27. I need 29, but at this rate, I'll probably get 30 from doing the dig site stuff. So going from like 10 to 30 in the span of literally just 10 minutes, 20 minutes, if that, it's really, really nice. We can build up this. That's 1000 XP for the 29 construction. I can now build this for an extra 1000. That's 30 construction. And there we've reached the 30 mark, which is really, really nice. I'm not even sure what else there is to build. I built that earlier, so I built 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. I think there's, oh, I built the 6 there in the middle. I think that's everything. So oh, I've got to build the bank chest, of course, like the most important thing I'm missing out on. So that should be everything completed over here, and that gives, I suppose, like full access here of what a bank I can do. What I'm going to do now is take out all the stuff I need to do a simple birdhouse run. Even at low level, this is worthwhile. So I've got the 4 birdhouses ready, and next time I'll take out a singular clockwork, 40 Asgardian seeds. And really now all I've got to do is run around and start setting up all these birdhouses so that I can return to them later. So this is really important to do. If you get up here, you can use this necklace on the strange machine. Doing it once will actually give you the teleport, and if I now rub it, or whatever it is, I think it will give me the option to go to either Fossil Island or the dig site, and doing the Fossil Island TP will take me right here. So, whoop. And welcome. So this is how we get to here a bit quicker, and this is the best access spot to the magic mush tree. Right, that's real nice. That's Shades of Morton completed. Bit of a pain. I had to spend a lot of money on the bracelets for this. Not many people making them, so probably spent a bit too much money. But hey, bit of Herbler XP, 24, and no crafting level, but good quest to get out of the way. And this now unlocks a training method in the form of Serum 208s. Now these are quite of an kind of an interesting thing. Please go away, zombie, thanks. So let me show you guys how this works. It's a bit unique as far as all this goes. This freaking hammer, I had to buy this hammer as well. Oh, so much money spent into this. I'll try and sell it off, but yeah. So Serum 207s. If I want to make some of these, basically I grabbed some Tarramin stuffs. I got ashes, which were pretty cheap, and as you make these, the one interesting thing about them is that you can make them as fast as you like. You just use it, and you can get really good XP, like 50 per, to get your Herbler up. So it's a bit different from conventional potion making, but it's a little bit faster and much more convenient in this stage. I think a couple of other people have been doing it as well, so the prices are pretty rough, but I managed to sneak in an offer for a good amount of Tarramin fairly early, so I'm going to spend that all and see what kind of level it gets me to. Alrighty, so I've been upgrading myself from sand crabs all the way up to these ammonite crabs, and I've just been coming back here every 10 minutes to click, and for the last like whole day basically I've been training some melee combat stats to give myself a long break from the questing grind and all that crap. In the process of this, I've been doing my birdhouses. So to show you guys what it looks like and kind of my routing to both like be semi-efficient while sort of still playing really AFK and putting in minimal effort per hour, I'll come back here and every 10 minutes I'll reset my aggro on the sand crabs, these ammonite crabs. These guys are basically just like a bigger HP sack with 100 HP instead of like 60, so you get a bit more out of them, and that's all it really is. Now, Birdhouse Run. Normally you TP to the house on the hill, then go to Verdant Valley, then go to Mushroom Meadow, but because I'm training at these crabs, my routing is a little bit different. So I come over here. Oh, need a space. I'll just drink this up. So, pick up this one. Make the first. Seeds in. And instead of going over to the bottom one, we go and stop here at Verdant Valley instead. Since it's just a little bit easier to get back to this same point. So it's just a slightly altered route, nothing really that different from it. Coming through, set the birdhouses, there's 30 hunter, so you can see already just after not even that many runs, like 5 or 6 runs, the levels really do fly up here. And it's something that I did on my old Iron Man a long time ago, back when I played by Iron. Didn't get far for what it's worth, but got to sort of this stage as an Iron previously anyway. And I did a huge amount of birdhouses to take my levels all the way up. So here we're going to alch all the jewelry that we get from this, just for some extra magic XP along the road. I need to be alching more really, because it's a really good source of levels. And then we'll come and finish off the final birdhouse. And I'll just rinse and repeat this process every 45 minutes or so. I'm getting some seeds from this at the farming, which I'll need to do at some point. And I'll also look at my GE offers. So this time round in the GE, I've been working with a couple of different things, most notably prayer pots, which I've been buying and flipping directly, and soda ash and buckets of sand. So these are more essential supplies that players need to get levels decently quickly, and since they're readily available, it just takes a couple of players to go and actually do the activity to get more of them. In this case, doing charter ships, just buying and selling the buckets of sand and soda ash. Now there are more means in which this stuff comes into the game, but it doesn't really matter right now. So right here we have 1,000 soda ash, and these bad boys are selling for, I think, let me refresh, over 600 GP each. So each one of these puts me up, every time I buy 1,000 I'll go up by like nearly 100k. But in some certain cases across the last few days, players have been buying this stuff for nearly 1k each. So I'm hoping I'm going to be able to do a really big flip here and sell them off for around about 940. So this will be kind of big if I get this to trade, since we bought at 526, that's 400k just straight up. And I think over the next 1 or 2 days that will sell off. So this is kind of like the long-term stuff rather than the short-term things I'm doing. The same kind of goes for the buckets of sand. These guys are selling for... they've dropped down a little bit in recent time, but they've also been over 1,000 at certain points. So I'm going to try and do exactly the same thing here and just get a stupidly high offer going of 940, so that whenever the next guy that comes along that's about to go crazy on this puts in offers, I'm going to go capitalize on that. Hey fellas, right, so I've had like a really long 2 days of melee combat training over at the Ammonite Crabs. And I've been doing some birdhouses intermittently, but not really playing too actively. Just have a bit of a break, because I had a really like first 3 days just non-stop going ham. And I kind of deserve and need a little bit of a break. So I decided I would gather some tokens, do some melee combat training, and we're going to start the Defender grind today and get Dragon Defender today as well. So I did get a couple, just really quickly. I've only killed like 10, so I got kind of lucky. Just got some really early ones, but I will show the remainder of the ones to come. And it should end up with a Dragon Defender and a good amount of melee combat stats as well. So we're starting with this. 64 attack, I want 70, and then I'll start working on strength again. But I did get all these combat stats up purely at sand crabs and ammonite crabs. Just sitting there, clicking boss, nice and AFK. And really, for any account at this stage where you're about to do the Defender grind or about to get into Slayer, this is a really necessary part of training. You don't have to do it via ammonites, but it's really nice and AFK, and you'll thank yourself in the future if you want to go this route. So sure, it's not super efficient, but it's certainly a lot easier. Right, it's a little bit late, but I found a friend to go help with Shield of Arav, which actually makes this the final quest in the free-to-play section completed. So that's all the free-to-play's done. It's a bit late, could have done it any time, but hey. There it is. I don't know what we get, like a bit of money? 600 GP and a quest point? Yeah, okay, thanks bud. Yeah, so have you guys ever been at Cyclops long enough to think that, hey, maybe I didn't go to the fella outside and talk to them to make sure that I had the next Defender? And then you realize, nah, I definitely did that, and I'm just gonna sit here and keep killing them until I get the next one to prove to myself that I did do it and that I trusted myself the whole time. And then you end up using, oh, I don't know, 500 and more tokens for a defender that you don't know if you're gonna get it or not, and you just have to trust. I don't want to leave, man. I don't want to leave. Look at all these beautiful alks I have. I'm at that stage. I'm dry. This is horrid. I'm like 3x rate. Defenders don't exist. They're not real. They just don't exist. But of course I have to stay here to prove it to myself, so... Yes! I'm like 4,000 dry! I finally got the Steel Defender! Oh, let me out! I've legitimately been here for like 600-700 tokens. I know it's not that bad. I know some people have gone dry, but my god, it's so terrifying every time. Friends, we have acquired the Black Defender. This was, yeah, believe it or not, another 100 Cyclops just to get this damn thing. I'm convinced it's 1 in 50, although I'm not certain, so... I mean, maybe it's not, but I mean, just actual pain, just suffering. I know I got lucky on the first few, but... Oh, please, also, why am I killing this? I'm gonna go get some more stuff. So I've managed to pick up a pair of Dragonplate Legs for about 280k. I think this is a worthwhile investment just to tank a bit better. Putting my defense bonuses up to an extra 20 or so. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it'll pay off down the road. I'm thinking probably good to get the Natives Not Helm done as well, although that could take a little longer, so I'm not sure about it, but it's being considered. One Mithril Defender later. Oh, okay, the painful part is over. I have just received the Adamant Defender, which is pretty much the point at which I start feeling like it's okay to use. The Myth Defender here, given that I was flicking a bit more now, just got back to sort of playing a bit more actively. Yeah, I mean, it's worth using, but now this is very much worth it. I am, in fact, very lucky, as I have now killed a total of 340 and just received the Rune Defender. So, only bad luck on one of these, and I'm pretty happy to say that I can now move on to get the Dragon Defender, which is the final one for now, until Avernic hopefully down the road at some point. But this last one comes from the downstairs area. These guys have a bit more HP and whatever. I think they're best training generally at this level, especially for just, well, outside Slayer anyway. But yeah, Rune Defender's just huge right now. Let's bank off these two. Gonna alk the shield, I don't think I'll need it anymore. Even for defensive stuff, probably not really, so goodbye shield. Rune Defender now equipped. And I need to show this one to the person downstairs to go and get all that done as well. So, gonna refill the prayer real quick, grab some more pots and stuff, and then off to the Dragon Defender. So these higher tier Cyclopses that drop the Dragon Defender are a little bit better for training for sure, due to the higher HP I think they have. But more importantly, they also drop some really nice alts. So every now and then you'll see me get a Rune Helm, a Rune Med Helm, sometimes a Rune Full Helm, a lot of Adamant stuff, a lot of stuff like that. But it's all alts and it's all nice training, so another like sort of mini source of GP I guess, and kind of the first source of GP from actual combat. So obviously it's going to pick up down the road, but right now even 100k is still pretty valuable to me. Well, yeah, not too bad. Took about 100, so pretty much on rate at the end of all of this. Despite the one hiccup at the start, paying for the early 2, not too bad after all. So a pretty big piece of gear finished. Dragon Defender. So this is pretty much the finalized piece to the melee setup, minus two things, one being the Natives Not Helm, and the other potentially being Fire or Infernal Cape once I get some higher range levels and do Ancients. Outside of that immediate kind of stuff, I don't think I'll have the money to buy any big upgrades outside of Abyssal Whip when I get 70 attack and do a bit of Slayer to earn some GP, because they're going to be a lot of money when they start coming into the game, like 15 plus mil. Not really too sure. I mean, I'm not getting Barrow's Gloves anytime soon. Dragon Boots will happen, I guess, as well. Probably, yeah, maybe Dragon Boots actually fairly soon. But they'll be very expensive as well, like into the mills, so I'm not too sure I can really achieve right now outside of getting ready for bigger Slayer and stuff, but yeah, it's a really big piece of gear done, so melee combat stats looking pretty strong. These bonuses really do stack up over time, and mostly the strength bonus really. Huge piece of strength bonus entirely. So this is pretty cool, and I don't know how many people really know about this, but ever since they got rid of Neverlog, which was a plugin that allowed you to sort of exist in the game for 6 hours without being logged out, the logout time has been 5 minutes. Now, they recently added a 25-minute logout timer on RuneLite, which is really nice, and everyone should be running that. If you're not, put it on. It's super good. But, of course, if you want to train for 6 hours like we used to be able to, there's not really a way to do that via splashing or like AFK attacking. Until now. So, I don't know why this works, but I just know that it works. And that is that if your mouse encounters an object like this and goes from nothing to something, this counts as like, oh, you're doing something in the game. Because it thinks you're moving your mouse like this. And what we can do to sort of cheese it a bit is align our mouse very carefully, and I can do this overnight when I sleep, to get 6 hours of magic training in. And I'll simply find a little spot on the bear where the hitbox comes into contact every now and then, just like that. So if I keep my mouse completely steady, when the bear flinches, you'll see that it comes into contact with my mouse. And that's enough to trick the game into thinking that I'm actually in combat. So I can sit here indefinitely for 6 hours and get my magic training in just by leaving my mouse alone. And this is my tactic for doing it overnight. So I don't know why it does it, I don't know if they'll ever patch it, but it's a thing. And if you want to get some overnight training in, specifically splashing, this is how you can do it. Guys, it's been about 3 or 4 days since I've last played. I've just been busy IRL, and I've just come back to it, approaching the 1000 total level pretty soon, so this is going to be just done through woodcutting and firemaking, of which I need 55 of both. Now, I couldn't tell you why, I just looked at the quest list, and it was one of those requirements that I needed for something, so I figured I'd do them together at Draenor, nice and simple, just like this fella, just do like straight lines of fires, the big noob method. And it's fairly AFK, which is what I've been kind of going for the last few days. I will start playing a bit more actively in coming times, but at least for the next few days I'm sort of just, well, at least the next like 1 or 2 days I'm kind of stuck in my ways here for now. But the progress has been really nice. I've got most of the melee combats to where I want them to be, so I'm not really sure what's up next. I think I've got to finish off a couple of quests, I know. Well, my friends, here we are after a decently long time at the Draenor Willows. One more level for the 1k total level goal for this episode, and we're going to finish it off here with level 51 firemaking right now. Yo, there it is, level 51. And of course, congratulations, you've reached a total level of 1000. Well, folks, there it is. Thank you for sticking through the episode. The next one will be hopefully within about 10 days, 7 days, I guess, for any given one. But I do promise we're going to get into some of the more fun stuff fairly soon. But regardless, thank you for watching through it, and make sure to hit the like and sub if you fancy watching the rest of this series. It's going to be going on for a pretty long time, at least 6 months. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.